Al Jazeera Podcasts.
I'm Marthe, and this is The Take. As Israel's war on Gaza continues, we're coming to you on Sundays with a weekly roundup. This week, 193 days into a ceasefire, Israel has killed at least 749 Palestinians in Gaza. US and Iran failed to reach a deal. Gaza's humanitarian crisis deepening. Israel bombs Lebanon 100 times in 10 minutes. Today's Sunday, April 12. Israel has killed at least 72,328 Palestinians in Gaza since October 7, 2023. Ceasefire discussions between the United States and Iran ended without a deal early Sunday morning. It is unclear if talks will be resumed in the near future. Some of the main sticking points are around the Strait of Hormuz, Israel's continued bombing of Lebanon, and Iran's uranium program. Al Jazeera's Kamel Hyder reports from Islamabad, where the talks were held.
No breakthrough, but no breakdown. So the offer is on the table. Pakistan has already said that Pakistan remains committed to be the mediator to try to find a diplomatic pathway to settle the crisis. The diplomatic option is not closed. People will be disappointed. And of course, the world at large, which was holding its breath, hoping that there will be some sort of a breakthrough, will have to wait longer. It will be important to see whether there is going to be some sort of a statement coming out from the US president. For the moment, those sticking points became the main problem. The animosity between Iran and the United States is decades old, and you cannot iron out the differences in a matter of 24 hours.
Lebanon declared a national day of mourning on Thursday after Israel bombed the country over 100 times in 10 minutes on Wednesday. With hundreds of deaths, thousands injured, and over 1 million displaced, healthcare facilities are overwhelmed. Al Jazeera's Heidi Pett reports from Beirut.
A brutal day in Lebanon as Israel launched a wave of strikes across the country. Many woke up on Wednesday hoping that Lebanon would be included in the regional ceasefire agreed between the US, Israel, and Iran. Those hopes were dashed violently as the Israeli military hit 100 locations across the country in 10 minutes. Striking multiple locations across Beirut, including this residential tower in downtown, which has been leveled to the ground without warning. Authorities have called on doctors and nurses to go to hospitals immediately, which are overwhelmed with the number of injured people. Israel's strikes continued into the evening, and rescue services worked through the night.
Gaza's healthcare crisis is deepening 6 months after the Gaza ceasefire deal. The few hospitals that are still operational cannot cope with the number of people who need treatment. Al Jazeera's Tareq Azzoum reports from Deir al-Balah.
For more than 2 years, the healthcare system stood at the center of a war that spared no one. The Israeli military besieged, raided, and bombed hospitals and clinics, stripping them of things that make survival possible. Today, what remains is not a system recovering, it's a system enduring, carrying the weight of a war that never really left. Now, it's evident in the bodies of those who went too long without treatment, in wounds that have not healed, in kidneys that keep failing, in surgeries postponed until pain becomes permanent. Under the ceasefire, Israel agreed to allow 50 critically ill or wounded patients to leave the Strip every day. But the health ministry says since February, when the Rafah crossing was finally reopened, only 520 patients have left. Another roughly 20,000 patients are still waiting for permission.
A group of right-wing Israelis stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque where 3,000 people were praying on Thursday. Israel closed the holy site at the start of the war on Iran 6 weeks ago and reopened it last week. Al Jazeera's Nida Ibrahim reports from the occupied West Bank.
Israeli authorities said the closure was a safety and security measure during the war with Iran. Palestinians say it's an excuse to force them away from the site and change reality on the ground. And this is exactly what's happening, they say. Early on Thursday, far-right Israeli settlers entered the compound for prayers, something they're not allowed to do. Israeli authorities have permitted incursions like this for several hours a day since 2008. The doors to holy sites may have reopened, but the Israeli grip on Palestinians' right to worship is still tightening.
Mohammed Wisha, an Al Jazeera journalist, was killed on Wednesday by Israel in a targeted attack in the Gaza Strip. Israel has killed at least 262 journalists since the start of the war on Gaza in 2023. Al Jazeera's Hani Mahmoud reports from the funeral in Deir al-Balah.
There's no guarantee while you go out reporting that you're coming back alive. His family and colleagues have been telling us that Muhammad was on his way to work. He was on his way to tell a story, but he became part of the story. Again, sadly, another journalist killed, another voice silenced. And since the beginning of this war, we've seen close to 262 Palestinian journalists killed by the Israeli military, and close to 10 of them from the Al Jazeera network. This is the reality of Palestinian journalists, and despite what's going on, we're seeing journalists still continue their work, continue their reporting, documenting Israeli atrocities across the Gaza Strip.
And that's the take for Sunday, April 12th. Please join us again tomorrow. This episode was produced by me, Marthe van der Wolf. Our sound designer is Alex Rodan, and Alexandra Locke is the Take's executive producer.